Welcome to the channel. Today we have a romantic anime, because it's been a long time since romantic anime. So, the Deadly Duke and his Black Maid. Sounds intriguing at least. By the way, this anime from Universal Pictures. I've never seen one of these interesting. Yes, introduces the main character, whose name is, well, I don't really know his name. Everyone calls him Duke or Young Master. Anyway, the kid was cursed by a witch when he was a kid. And now he can't touch organic stuff because it kills them instantly. People count, by the way. The young Duke's mother decided to send her son to an abandoned estate to somehow deal with his curse herself. But she is one of those parents who throw their children into the water to learn to swim. And then we meet his ray of hope, namely a maid named Alice. In general, Alice is the Duke's maid, and they have a rather interesting relationship. The girl with the very impressive breasts, emphasized in the anime I am not at fault, teased the young master in every way and even to some extent molested him. She's got a lot of vulgarity coming out of her mouth, and all our kid does is blush and remind Alice of his curse. Anyway, we find out that the kid was cursed when he was only 5 years old, saying you'll never love anyone and no one will love you. And Alice is the daughter of the head maid they've known since childhood. They did not see each other for a while, but now they are together again, so an old friend of the Duke must come to the estate. Our hero is worried and wants to give back, but Alice does not allow. Anyway, the kid got dressed up, got a couple of heart attacks from behind his maid's breasts, and finally meets Philip. That's his friend's name. The guy has grown into a man, and also goes with the guard. It immediately becomes clear that the film is afraid of the Duke. They didn't even talk for a few minutes, and the guy got all homesick, but before that, he asked to use the bathroom. Alice took him home. Left alone, Philip immediately offered the girl to flee the house, but was refused abruptly. The Duke arrived immediately. It turned out that the hero's mother forced Philip to visit the kid, although he obviously did not want to. He thinks the kid is a monster at all. We parted. The Duke in tilt, but Alice cheers him up and accepts a dead rose as a gift. It's beautiful, and the vending music is fun, so you can find it on YouTube and listen, and I won't put it in. The next day, he will meet another resident of this house, a butler named Rob. The old man was the only person who left the main house with the young master, but the road is already too old. He is blind. Well, she fails him only in this episode. It will not be further. Meanwhile, we learn that the Duke is quite good at music, playing the piano and composing music. Alice did not miss the chance to listen to music and then show off to her master. The figure allows the benefit. I'm getting a little slutty myself. I've got to keep it together. In the meantime, we are shown the family gig. The younger sister decided to visit her brother. Her name is Viola, and she turns out to be a brash Lola who likes nice things, like a classic Japanese fetish. She mocks her brother and Alice, like they love carrots, but Viola itself is fiercely in love with the robe. Starper her crush probably. We condemn this. In general, the girl leaves with a very good mood, and the guys find a black cat who chases the Duke. Of course he runs away, because the cat can die if he touches the kid. To be honest, it's pretty funny and cute. Alice, of course, is getting the kid back on his tits, and we're finding out the cat's been dumped too. The Duke feels sorry for the fluffy one and allows him to stay on the estate, but in the end, it turns out the cat has a family. So our guys are playing billiards. So, Alice again bites grandfather inside and they go to the city together. The kid wears a very strange disguise of a plate doctor, like no one's gonna touch him, but they end up touching him anyway. The Duke decides to play the piano for the townspeople, and thus finds the boy's mother. The Duke decides to play the piano. Alice, by the way, also wore a funeral dress. Strange sense of style. Immediately we find out that Mom Alice had some kind of super secret, and the girl in town runs into people who know something about her mom. However, it is too early to reveal all the cards. Closer tonight, the guys eat ice cream and climb on the tower, which offers a wonderful view of the city. There are very nice scenes that I don't see the point of retelling. If you are interested, look for yourself. At night, Alice calls the Duke to her room. The fool has too. Immediately catches the girl naked. Then, however, the girl dressed and helped the dupe to sleep. And that's not what you think, you little perverts. And in the end, the guys decide to go on a boat in the lake. Alice heavily beats the kid on a kiss, but he is still holding on. The guys fall into the water, and when they are out, the Duke admits to love the Alice. Yeah, it's pretty cheesy but I like it. The next day, Alice began to behave strangely, and to be more precise, she stopped making vulgar hints to the Duke. He was worried, and not in vain. It turns out the girl was ill, but after that she quickly recovered. Alice gives the Duke a scarf, and they go outside together to make a snowman and play in the snow. It's a pretty funny scene too, because it's gone from being an innocent game to a fierce battle. During this amusement, Alice lost the earring she had received from her mother. The Duke found out about it and went to the snowstorm to look for the treasure trove. Our hero would have died on the street, but a witch named Calf came to his rescue. She was flying by like a bat and decided to bask in the house, and there was this weird kid. But Calf enrolled fire magic, heated the boy, and found an earring. In gratitude, the Duke sheltered the witch, fed, drank, and even let me shower. He asked the witch who cursed him, but the girl didn't know anything about it. He asked her. She is a raven herself, because her father was human and her mother was a witch, and therefore she was not accepted by either, but she was always helped by a man named Zane. Eventually the calf flew away. Alice thanks the Duke once again. On another winter day, the Viola arrives at the house, begins to blush for the coat, and then envy the breasts of Alice. Then Lolka again comes to the estate. This time she already helps the robe and the others in cooking. Having fun, Lolka leaves, and our heroes go to the lake to skate. The crows fly up to the Duke and begin to speak human. This raven is the Zane, who came to thank the Duke for his help. Zane, by the way, turns out to be a bit of a womanizer, and begins to hit on Alice powerfully. The girl is very beautiful. In general, after getting acquainted, it turns out that Calf was nearby, namely between the breasts of the Alice. Yeah, well, writers really like to focus on that. In general, the guys skate together, have fun, and later in the evening the witches invite the Duke and Alice to the Coven Witches. There the kid may learn something about his curse. And at night again arrives Viola and sleeps at the Alice in the room. Then two scenes await us. The first Duke with his curse brings order to the greenhouse, and the second cat spoils the Alice dress, and she walks around the house half naked with the Duke. Yes, in the retelling sounds stupid, well, and in fact, it is basically dumb. In general, heroes through the mirror go to the Coven Witches. We are shown various creatures and a head of witches named Dulls. Calf and the Zane have to lie that the Duke and Alice and their children. The meeting goes very fast, and it is discussed on it rather strange news, like ballooned flowers on the mandrake. Cool. Well, I guess. Actually, Dulls recognized the guys, of course. She says that the witch who cursed the boy is long dead, so it will be almost impossible to lift the curse. It is better to just give up. Then she takes off her robes, with the witches' boys start hunting them, but the rabbit as they save new friends. The next day, Alice found a book with magic potions and a droplet of strange pot for their cooking. To make it work, you need to jam the pot. Anyway, Alice boiled the potion, but it certainly didn't work. But we caught a lot of dirty moments. Then the Duke plays the damn symphony. In theory, Alice too, this should help to break the curse from the kid. But instead, just got out a horny ghost and starts hitting on Alice. The kid couldn't take the impudence and played the damn symphony on the skeleton, freed the composer. Then the Duke accidentally smashes the vase in front of the robe, and in order not to suffer the punishment deserved, starts to hide from the old man, of course along with the Alice. Otherwise, how can we see her breasts? But that's it. She's a fool again, and at the end the kid still gets punished by the robe. Then the Duke's house comes Calf. She asks her father to teach her to read and write, and her grandfather gladly agrees. She introduces the Duke's younger brother, Walter, and he has a second brother complex, if any. Well, in anime, it's kind of funny how he gets sick every time someone mentions two. Anyway, Viola comes to visit his brother again, but instead he catches a catch, which he thinks is a thief. There is a daring capture, and here the girls are already lying on each other. Erotically, of course, but we are not up to it. We are waiting for a flashback. Anyway, we're seeing the first day that Alice came to the Duke's new house. The kid is shitting and insulting the girl, and she's doing the best she can. The guy ends up giving her an impossible task, to clean the living room in 3 days. Alice does it overnight. The boy is shocked and decides to freeze to death so as not to be a burden. But the new maid saves him and says that they will always be together. The kid gave up on me. In general, it is already Christmas Eve and Viola wants to spend it in his brother's house. But his mother has strictly forbidden to do this. Well, logic quickly ran away from home. The middle brother noticed and decided to follow his sister, and at the same time he stole her gift for the robe. Meanwhile, Kath and Zane have brought a Christmas tree. Girls have started to decorate it, and boys have started decoration of the house. During a male conversation, it turned out that Zane is in love with Kath, but is a little afraid to admit it, after all. He is a kind of mentor to her. Kath herself is also in love with the Zane, but she really behaves like a little one. For example, she is the only one in the whole room who believes in Santa. Actually, and that's what she meets. More precisely, she meets Walter, who pretended to be a Santa. To get rid of the annoying girl, the boy gives the calf as a gift to the Viola and avoids. However, it was not possible to run far, and Calf decides to help Santa get into the chimney. As a result, Walter gets directly into the living room with the other guys. It's a fight between the brothers, and then a fight between the calf and the Viola for a gift. The guys have a good deal. Then comes another very nice scene with Alice and Duke. I'm not critically close to the kiss. Then another flashback is waiting for us, this time with a little Alice. We find out that her mother was a very kind and open person. Everyone loved her. Sadly, a little. Meanwhile, the Zane, after talking to the Viola, decides to give the calf more independence. He lets her go alone to the city. There is a which is quite comical shopping, because the girl does not even know that the goods must be paid for. As a result, everything goes very well. She is waiting for another conversation between Alice and the Duke. They lie in bed, and the boy says that he wants to marry her, even if his mother does not approve of such a marriage. But first, you need to remove the curse. Alice asks for advice from Rob, and he says that such feelings are quite normal. And at the end of the series, the Duke plays an Alice song he wrote specifically for her. The track's not great, but it's still pretty cute. Meanwhile, Viola found the service log that had been kept since the Duke was cursed. The girl's mother forced her daughter to change her image to a more suitable young lady. Viola could not stand it and decided to run away to her brother. But our hero is against it. But she was allowed to spend one night in the room of Alice, and they're already half settled down. Anyway, the girls had an unscheduled bachelorette party where they were talking about boys and stuff, which was also pretty. It was there that Viola gave the magazine to Alice, and meanwhile Dulles ordered the Zane to destroy the magazine and warn the guys to stay out of their business. The feathered one is doing the job, but feels he has to do it differently. He tells the Duke what Dulles has ordered him to do, and also says that she can see through the eyes of any living creature, so she watches them but cannot hear them. Zane destroys the diary in front of the Dallas, but he has a special ability. He can destroy any object, and as long as he has at least a small piece, he can restore it at any time. So he helps his new kin and leaves. The Duke says to Alice that he took the magazine to examine it for himself, and we find out that under the mask let a woman with scars on her face hide. And also some fucker she keeps the body of the mother Alice. And at the end we have the final episode, in which Alice and the Duke come to the main house for a family dinner. Everything as usual does not go well. The mother is still cold to her son, but the servant in the house is very happy to see the Alice. A girl so similar to her mother that even the mistress of the house accidentally got mistaken. Then we understand that women were close friends. Alice is going on and on and on about the next day. A dinner begins at which the mother announces that our hero has until spring to break the curse. Otherwise, the head of the family will be Walter. The boy, without further ado, confesses that he loves Alice and wants to marry her. Mother says that such an unequal marriage is impossible. Then the young Duke has a breakdown, and he says everything that has accumulated in that time, and then leaves the house. The mother notices that her son has grown up and smiles. Our heroes get into the carriage and leave the main house with smiles on their faces. And in the final, we have a nice scene where our couple plays cards. On this basically everything, I liked anime. Not intense romance without unnecessary drama. And if you like my rewrite, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video, I will be pleased.